Well, if you have lower back, neck, or even leg pain, believe it or not, it could all be coming from the same source. Dr. Alex Bingham from Novocur Pain Management Clinics is here with us to talk about the cause as part of our house calls this morning. It's good to see you.
Thank you.
All things point to one location?
They can, and very frequently do. And oftentimes when people have severe back pain or neck pain, they think of it as being a disc problem. And frequently it is. But more frequently than that, it comes from the movable joints. When we bend, twist, turn our heads back and forth, all that motion is taking place at the joints that connect all the vertebrae in our spine together, and they're called the facet joints. And they are the most likely source of pain, whether it be back pain, mid-back pain, neck pain. And what's interesting about facet joints or facet pain is that it often refers to different parts of our body. And I think I brought a couple of different graphics to illustrate. Now here's an example of somebody that might have facet pain in the lower back. Now they're going to have pain right over that level, that joint in the middle of their back.
What does it feel like, though, in that area?
It's going to be a dull ache. It could be sharp, and it could be almost like pins and needly, especially when the muscles get so tight, it can manifest as pins and needles. But oftentimes the pain is not going to be just in that part of the lower back in this case, but it may refer often down into the gluteal area or down into the back of the leg. And oftentimes people think of that kind of pain where it refers down the leg as sciatic pain, but this is completely different. So oftentimes facet type pain is confused with sciatic pain. Now here we go, here's another graphic of the upper body, and we can see, let's take for example the C5, C6 spinal level. That's about in our mid-neck. Now if somebody has a problem with the facet joints in that level, it can refer pain into the shoulder area, usually the top and back side of the shoulder, and that's represented by that pink area on the left side. Of course that can happen on either side. And now what's interesting is that a lot of these people are going to get what we call trigger points in the referred area. So they're going to always feel like, hey, I've always got these knots in the back of my shoulder and they never go away. I always go to the massage therapist and they try and work them out. I go to the chiropractor and he adjusts my neck and I never seem to be able to get rid of these knots. Usually that's a result of these facet joint problems. And when we go in and treat these facet joints, those trigger points and knots and the pain in those referred areas just melts away.
So when you talk about a facet joint, is it an actual a joint, and how many do we have?
Yeah, so there's two on each side of the spine that connect every two vertebrae. So we have 24 movable vertebrae in our spine, and between each of those vertebrae there's two facet joints, one on either side of the back, that connects those. So now here's an example of what we're going to do when somebody has facet joint problems. Is we're simply going to do a very simple injection. And what's nice about injecting into the facet joints is that the nerves and the spinal cord are all protected by the bone. So this is about the safest type of injectable procedure that somebody can have done in their back because everything is protected. But it's very quick. It's very painless. We have at Novocur Pain Management Clinics something that we call pain pause technology, and that's how we numb the skin over the area that we're going to be injecting. Very easy. It's just an instrument that blows anesthetic through the surface of the skin. You
brought it last time, and if I could just be like in layman's terms, he didn't put the anesthetic in it, we should say, but just to give me an example, and it just felt like a puff of air on my skin, and that's it.
And then now that skin is numb, and now we're going to inject right down through that numbed area, and you honestly cannot feel what's going on. You can detect that something's happening, but you don't know what. And they're performing the actual injection down into the spine. So it's very quick. You don't, there's no general anesthesia or conscious sedation required, so it's not like there's going to be a long recovery period from the anesthesia. And it very quickly shrinks down the inflammation and the pain and the dysfunction around these joints. Now what's interesting about facet joint problems is that eventually it's going to cause problems with the disc if patients don't get it taken care of, because they're both so interconnected. Problems with the disc are eventually going to cause problems on the back side of the spine in those facet joints, and vice versa.
Okay. Well, I'm going to connect people with you because I think that they're going to be interested in learning how they can get relief and look into that pain pause technology, because that's pretty incredible.
It is pretty cool.
Novocur Pain Management Clinics has 2 locations in the Valley, and for more information you can visit novocur.com. Call them at 480-855-NOVO, which is 480-855-6686. And if you have a question about lower back or neck pain and that facet joint, let us know. Head to SonoranLiving.com and click on the house calls on the right side of